Welcome back to HPL. I am Nathan, that's Admiral Zamora with the Tan and Grace. Match 2 of the night, it's going to be Jab versus Tides. Is Jab going to deliver an uppercut in this match, or is Tides going to be able to ride a wave to victory?
I'm sorry. Guys, get out there on Twitter, use that hashtag HPL. Let us know if you think Nathan's pun game needs to be improved, or if it's actually just right on point. Let us know. Also, tell us what you think is going to happen to this match. Is Jab going to win? Is Tides of Time going to win? What decks are they going to play? What kind of change is Jab going to make that we think and that he thinks is necessary to win in this match?
Yeah, I think a change is necessary too. I mean, really excited to see what he's going to bring forward here in HPL. Muzzy just bought Dragon Warlock, and he's teammates with Jab. They're both on Hearthlytics, and we talked about how their manager was actually discussing with them strategies and queuing up here tonight. Excuse me. If Jab plays a strategy like that, and again, we've been seeing a lot of success from it. It's been performing very well in DreamHack. Muzzy came into it with 0 practice on the deck and able to pick up 2 wins with it. Maybe Jab can do the exact same thing. Maybe he's just been practicing that all weekend.
It's a really good point you brought there that the manager got involved. I wonder if they all sat down and had like a little team powwow and they're like, hey, we need to get our stuff straight here. We've had a pretty hard start here in HPL. And you know what? We're going to see what happens in this game 1 here between Jab and Tides of Time.
Yeah, I always like to see managers involved with exactly how their teams are going to pan out. And look at that. That's a Malagos in the opening hand here. I mean, to exactly 0 people's surprise, I think, the fact that they had sat down and kind of roundtabled this strategy, I'm curious if Tides is going to be able to weather the storm against this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And you know what? We're seeing Tides queue up Druid here game 1. This is becoming what I think might just be like considered a safe pick or just a great pick against some of these players here. Where it's going to be seeing a lot of pros start out with Druid here.
Yeah, even a Zombie Chow in here, so kind of giving a nod to potential aggressive strategies here from Jab. If Tides has been doing his research, he knows that Jab is going to mix this up a little bit. Didn't have the most successful start in week 1, but the change of pace I think is great for him right out the gates, and he's already got Twilight Drake in his hand. He's got Imp King Boss. This looks like a strong curve.
Yeah, and this doesn't look like a strong hand for Tides of Time versus what Jab's going to be bringing here. He kept this opening hand. He might have been thinking this hand is Tides of Time kept this opening hand thinking this was going to be really, really good against Jab and his aggressive tendencies.
Yeah, Emperor Thorson, I think, is going to be the big story of this match, is how safely he gets to that turn and how well he can utilize it. So Jab has a couple different options in front of him here now. He can either take out this Zombie Chow straight away with Dark Bomb, or he can start leveraging his life total using life taps and kind of go from there. And I have to say, with Imp Gang Boss and Twilight Drake in his hand, it can really go either way. I mean, he can either choose to have more of an aggressive curve, or he can try to power up a Twilight Drake. And I think in fear of something like Silence, he's going to favor having a Drake that's more mid-sized, not get quite as punished for investing a lot into Twilight Drake and making sure he can stick to the board.
Yeah, just a hero power here from Tides of Time in turn 2. That's something you just love seeing out of the Druid deck. No innervates, no wild
Well,
growth.
Speaking of innervate,
I might have spoken too soon, Nathan.
Yeah, the turn 3 Emperor Thorson. I mean, that's like the drop the phone turn right there. This is a tough one to deal with. He's actually going to go with Druid of the Claw here instead, though. I'm very interested in exactly why he chose Druid of the Claw here over Emperor Thorson. I mean, this is a very unique line.
Yeah, it might be something along the lines of he thinks Jab's going to be aggressive, he just protects his life total here, because the Emperor wouldn't be getting a ton. It's weird to say the Emperor would be getting a ton of value here, but these swipes and these wraths, he doesn't need to make them a ton cheaper to be really impactful on the rest of the game here. And you know what? He's going to draw another innervate here, and it's not going to matter. He's going to be able to play an Emperor this turn if he wants to.
Yeah, he's actually going to go swipe here. This is something that's sort of unique. The first 4 damage on swipe gets dealt to Imp Gang Boss. Initially it worked. It would deal of initial 4 damage. The minion would get spawned, and then the 1 damage would clear it out. That was something that I found out very early on that's going on.
In the hard way.
Yeah, I found it out the very difficult way the very first time. So I guess maybe that's not the case anymore. Unless I was dreaming about that circumstance. That's exactly what ended up happening here. So going to protect his Druid of the Claw here from Mortal Coil in a situation like this. Even Defender of Argus, making sure he focuses on keeping his 4-2 out. But something that you looked at when you take a look at how he played this this Druid of the Claw was that it fought so perfectly against a Twilight Drake with Swipe. He didn't have to worry too much about it. But Implosion draw here from Jab, make sure he gets more threats on the board. But this is Emperor Thorson now, and this is something he's got to check.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like the way the Tides is curved out this game. He's been able to stymie what Jab has been doing this game while developing his own board, and he, as you said, his board matched up well against the Twilight Drake there. So very good plays at a time to time here.
Yeah, second Implosion here. Gets another 3 off of it, so average rolls for him so far here. Gosh, Implosion's such a good card, isn't it?
Yeah, when you get 3 and 4 off of it every time, it's just a great card. It builds up a board presence and kills minions from your opponent here. Now, Jab smartly is going to use his actual imps to trade off for the Emperor Thorson here, knowing that there's a possibility of another swipe here, and that's exactly what TidesofTime has.
Yeah, able to clear up all the minions, but investing a lot of cards into making sure he deals with these too. I have to believe this is favorable for Jab here. He's been, trying to get his hero powers in, make sure has more options available than him. Implosions have been killing minions and then also giving him threats on the board. So the fact that Tides has had to invest into killing those, I think that's +1 for Jab.
Yeah, his implosions have felt like 2-for-1s for me so far this match. Tides has had to use a swipe to clean up an implosion, while the implosion allowed him to kill an Emperor Thorson early, and a very good pickup here on turn 7. Jab uses his hero power straight into a good 5-drop in Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, I mean, excellently staying on curve here too. Such an important pickup. That's something you'll find though when players have the liberty to draw extra cards kind of however they want to. So Silence here going to come in Sludge Belcher, make sure he can continue to push damage here, but no action after this turn here for TidesofTime. So a little bit of a spectator thing we saw there. We'll get that fixed as soon as we possibly can. But in the meantime, I mean, Jab's picked up even more ways to continue to protect himself now. If there's one way to fight back versus a Silence on your Sludge Belcher, it's just giving it Taunt again and buffing it up a little bit.
Yeah, you're probably going to see him give it Taunt here and buff it up a little bit, as you said. He's going to have to protect his life total a little bit here. Tides could, easily kill him over the next couple turns with a combo if he didn't have a Taunt or anything like that into play. So yeah, as you see, we have a little bit of a spectator bug here. We're gonna get that fixed up as soon as possible. We're gonna call this game around it though. There we go. Perfect. Thanks, Wrath. It took care of it for us.
Wrath always doing the right job. So something that was interesting here too is that Jab actually invested into killing the Keeper of the Grove, and that's something we've seen from him, in all of his matches so far. Is he's very centered around making sure he keeps boards very clean. The fact that he's not straying away from that, I think that kind of a deck like this is right up his alley. This deck is meant to make sure that the board's very clean and choke your opponent's options out while maintaining options yourself. I mean, this is a perfectly fitted strategy for the way that he plays.
Yeah, I was going to make that exact point. You're seeing him actually play to his play style instead of taking a deck and playing it in the style that he likes. Yeah. He's playing a deck that works with his play style better, and you're seeing it, and he's getting pretty far ahead this game, and it looks pretty good for him. So you're seeing it actually work out pretty well for him so far.
Yeah, M-King Boss. Gonna spawn some more minions here. I have to believe this is gonna get healed up by one of these this Earthring Farseer. Make sure it stays healthy and out of range, just getting picked off very easily. Shade of Naxxramas, at this point, this is not a very strong minion right now. It cannot push through this Imp Gang boss efficiently. Perfect draw here from Todd. Yeah, that is a huge draw right now. I mean, he was very much running short of options. So the fact that he's picked this up is going to help him get some gas and keep moving forward in this game. But, it's a matter of whether or not he's going to have enough gas to push through everything that Jab's been throwing at him. No other action from him this turn.
Yeah, and those draws were not the best. Picking up the second Savage Roar when you don't have a ton of minions or a combo left over, and the second Wild Growth, he's going to be able to cycle that next turn, but you have to believe Jab's going to continue to control the board as he's done for the last couple turns. Jab desperately needs a dragon in his hand.
Yeah, plenty of options still available to him otherwise, though. So seeing exactly the first step he takes here, going to give you a glimpse in how he wants to tackle this turn. Multiple ways to kill the Ancient Allure. And he can still leverage his life total. Getting kind of dangerous at this point now, though, because if he runs into something like Force Nature Savage Roar, this game could very easily end on the back of something like that.
Yeah, you're seeing that in the back of his mind here. He's worried about getting Force of Nature Savage Roar, but I still believe that you have to start this turn out with a life tap. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's just going to trade in here, use his Mortal Coil, get a draw this way. I think he wants to draw a card in some way, shape, or form in the first couple turns. You're seeing a double BGH in this deck from Jab. That might come out to be pretty good if this game gets elongated here for a few more turns.
Yeah, just going to play the Blackwing Corruptor by itself. At this point, I think he's going to be pretty focused on pressure. His hand has kind of been dwindled down at this point, and running out of time here. He's going to play the other BGH with it again. He just wants to focus purely on pressure at this point. He doesn't have a ton of options left in his hand in terms of killing minions directly, so he wants to get investment into his board and then work towards that afterwards. Second Ancient of Lore for Tides, massive pickup for him. There's the Force of Nature. This could get very dangerous for Jab here extremely soon. Tides, again, he has to control what's going on here on the board, but the threat of damage from Force Nature and Savage Roar is usually enough to keep the board under control and force your opponent to be trading into your minions.
Absolutely, just a perfect draw for Tides this turn. A good minion that allows him to draw some more gas, and gas he did draw. That was a great turn for Tides here. You can see how he finishes it up here if he wants to cycle a Wild Growth, or just, I think this is what he wants to do, is gain some more life, take care of this Imp, and try to, as you said, make some stress on this board. He wants Jab to have to start trading in.
Yeah, so Jab still no dragon in hand, and Life Tap is going to put him very much in danger of something like Force of Nature, Savage Roar, and Tides has that 2-cost Savage Roar in his hand, so 15 life is not enough to withstand this. That looks like the game just ended. I mean, 6-cost Force of Nature, 2-cost Savage Roar, that's 14, then Hero Power is 15, and he has no way to taunt up or heal himself.
Yeah, this is going to be an unfortunate loss for Jab here. TidesofTime is going to pick up this game. He got the Force of Nature late in the game off of his extra draws here late. And you know what? Those top decks were just great for Tides there at the end of the game.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back Ancient of Lores. You know, the first Ancient of Lore kind of begets the second one because you draw that many more cards, but I mean the illustration here is how important something like Emperor Thaurissan was, even with just that 1 extra mana from that card. That's the difference in Tides being able to kill him this turn and not be able to kill him this turn. Maybe it would have given Jab some extra time, but excellent play from him. You know, that the turn that he played the Druid of the Claw and that set up his future turn on the swipe was so much foresight. I mean, I don't think there's a situation where I would have played the Druid of the Claw there over Emperor Thaurissan, but he understands the way that matchup is working, and he understands that taking into account your future turns is part of setting up the best processes there. And in that point in time, he didn't believe the extra mana was the best play. He believed that making sure he could adequately use swipe was a better option for him, and that worked out perfectly.
Yeah, the big play for me at the end of the game there was Jab at about turn 8 or 9. He life tapped, and as you said, it put him to exactly dead from the combo plus the hero power. Now, I would have liked to see a little bit of a different turn from Jab there. I'd like to see him not hero power. I'd like to see him use his Soulfire to clear out the Shade, attack his 5/4 Corruptor into the Ancient of Lore, clearing the board from TidesofTime there, keeping yourself above the life total that he would have had to die from the combo. Then he would be able to push his board state a little bit into TidesofTime to deal some damage and advance his board state still that turn. I would have liked to see him not tap that turn though.
Yeah, I can't blame him for tapping, though, because, again, he has to account for Savage Roar having been reduced by Emperor Thaurissan. And at that point, there was only 1 card left from Emperor Thaurissan that could have been. Now, granted, when that card is sitting there for that long, it could very easily be something like Force of Nature or Savage Roar. But, you know, we've talked about this in the past, and we'll always continue to talk about it again in the future. You're going to have to take a risk at some point in the game. I think with his hand, he didn't have enough gas to get the job done.
Yeah, he didn't have enough gas to get the job done, but I would have tried to get some board control, maybe leverage my hero power later if the game feels like it's a little bit better spotted for you. But as we saw, TidesofTime's 2 Ancient of Lores late in the game just pushed him over the top.
Yeah, able to kill a ton of minions, but you know, you have to kill all the minions that your opponents are going to play in those sorts of situations. And the extra 4 cards that Tides got from those Ancient of Lores proved to be too much in that game. So he's going to take a 1-0 lead here over Jab, and now these guys are back to the drawing board, making some changes to their decks or their class if that's what they want to do. The HPL format, there's no restrictions placed on players whatsoever. Guys, when we come back, it's going to be game 2, Jab versus Tides. Get out there on Twitter, use that hashtag HPL, let everyone know who you're supporting and what you think they're going to do. When we come back, the second game is going to get underway. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.